Welcome to Wildly Successful. I am your host, Petra Colson, a fellow business owner, a mum, and someone who has far too many ideas for my own good. On this podcast, we are diving deep into what it takes to build a business you truly love. One that brings not only financial success, but also the freedom to live a life that makes you genuinely happy. Join me as we explore topics such as business strategy, marketing, mindset, and everything between. You can expect actionable advice and real conversations with incredible business owners that will motivate you to take your business to the next level. So, if you're committed to building your wildly successful business, you're in the right place. Hello, and welcome back. Today's episode is a little personal because over the past 2 weeks, I have been forced to take a break. Not one that I planned, not one that I eased into, but one that my body demanded. And I wanted to talk about it because I just don't think enough people are, especially in the business space. It all started about 3 weeks ago, where out of nowhere, I began experiencing the weirdest symptoms. I got really intense headaches. I had this pressure around my neck and my skull. If you've ever fainted before, you know that moment just before it happens where you feel like everything is just a bit floaty and off and your body sort of tells you that something isn't right. That's how I felt all the time. And it was horrible. It really, really scared me. And I think because we're humans, we go straight to the worst case scenario. And my body was just screaming that something was seriously wrong. So I went straight into my normal problem-solving mode. I saw multiple doctors. I had a brain scan. I booked appointments with all these health practitioners. And just like in business, I would identify the challenge, I would find the fix, and I would move on. Thankfully, all the scans came back looking good, but I still felt like something was just really off. And eventually, with the help of doctors and so on, we've sort of landed on a combination of muscle tension, stress, a dysregulated nervous system, and burnout. Now, I've known burnout. It's not the first time I'm experiencing feeling really tired or actually exhausted, feeling stressed, feeling heavy. These are things I've felt before, but never like this, never this physical. And honestly, it scared the shit out of me because I really thought it wouldn't happen to me. I genuinely believed that I could manage it. It's been a big 12 months and I just kept going. But when my doctor told me that it's time to slow down, and that is before it turns into bed rest or 12 months of sick leave. And I just knew after that conversation that something has to change. So I stopped because I had to, because my body wouldn't let me do anything else. I took a couple of weeks off. My team did an amazing job. They looked after all of our clients. I've got my team leader looking after the team. My content manager kept running my social media. The only thing that paused was this podcast because I haven't been able to build up that bank of batched episodes yet. So that is something that I'm definitely going to change after this. But it also made me realize that I have built a business that can run without me for at least a month. And that's something that I'm really proud of. Something that kept coming back to was, why is this happening now? Because the crazy thing is, this didn't happen during a launch or during a super stressful time or heavy workload. I've actually felt more spacious and calm and content over the last few weeks than I have in years. And that's when it sort of hit me. It's exactly like when you go on holiday and on day 2 you get sick because your body finally has the space to just relax. Only this time it was a little bit more than just a cold. So during my time off, I rested. I stayed away from my laptop and my phone. I did binge watch a Netflix show, which I haven't done in ages, but it was a really nice way of switching off and not thinking about what was happening. And I did spend quite a lot of time just reflecting. And I think whether you are currently in a full-blown burnout or you are feeling the simmering signs of stress, I wanted to share some of the questions that I have asked myself during this time, and maybe that will help you too. A few things that I have reflected and journaled on and spoken to my support team about. The first thing is, what decisions am I avoiding that are taking up a lot of my brain space? Because indecisions are draining, and sometimes it's the avoiding that is exhausting you, or even the open loops. So what I realized is that I have had a lot of open loops happening in my brain, and that is causing me a lot of stress. So a lot of things that I haven't decided or I haven't put into action or put into a plan, and these things just sort of loops in my head over and over again. What am I going to do? I don't know what I'm doing. It just sort of keeps going around and around, and it's really tiring. And when you have a lot of those open loops, it becomes really stressful and overwhelming. So I started thinking about, okay, what are those things that are taking my time, taking my brain space, where I need to make a decision? And that might be a decision that I'm not going to move ahead with this thing right now. I'm going to put it on hold for 3 months, and then I'm going to revisit it again. But at least I've closed the loop by making a decision to say, okay, I'm not going to think about this until in 3 months' time, when I'm going to open that back up and make a decision on it. The next thing was, what is it that really keeps me from resting? Is it guilt? Is it pressure? Is it some story that I should always be doing more? I had this story about I wanted to show my close ones that I worked really hard to make this business really successful. The other one is, what is it that I'm telling myself when I push for those extra couple of hours instead of wrapping things up? What is it that I keep telling myself? So at say 4 or 4:30, if I'm still not finished for today, why do I keep going for another 2 hours? Is it that I'm giving myself a list that is not possible to finish? Is it that I'm getting distracted throughout the day? How can I make sure that I get to the end of my day and I don't keep pushing for more hours? I wrap up and I take time to look after myself. I also spent quite a lot of time thinking about what actually feels good to me right now. What gives me clarity and energy and peace? What are the things that makes me feel really good? I've been doing these walks with a friend by the beach every week, and it's been so helpful to just talk about business and start the morning in a beautiful place and just have a really good chat to someone who understands the reality of running a business. I also do these catch-ups with another friend where we go for saunas once a week. And again, it's that time where I feel like I'm giving back to myself and I get to have really rich and beautiful conversations. I also ask myself, what is it that doesn't feel good right now? What's draining and heavy, and what is it that maybe I'm tolerating just out of habit? So what are some things that I want to move away from? So bringing awareness to these things are so powerful, because once you can see your own patterns, you can shift them. And I know it's not always easy, and trust me, because I am going through this hard at the moment. There are things that you will realize that will make or feel like a challenging decision, or something that feel maybe emotional, like something that you don't want to have to deal with, but you know this is what's going to make you feel better. My therapist shared this analogy about a fly that keeps hitting the window. So it keeps going through the window and it just keeps going and going and going. And we know that that fly is never going to get through the window, but just a meter to the right, there's a big opening. And asking yourself, am I the fly here? Am I the one who keeps hitting the window thinking that there's going to be a way? Or do I just have to take a step back and look at the big picture and see that there's a big opening to the side of me? So bringing that awareness into your body, knowing that you need to make some changes. And it's not that you have to fix it all overnight, but having that plan and the willingness to move through that plan just one thing at the time is what's going to pull you out of feeling the way that you're feeling. So if you have been feeling tired physically, emotionally, energetically, I hope this episode lands the right way. You're not broken, you're just human, and sometimes our bodies speak a lot louder than our brain ever will. So take a pause, ask the questions, and trust that you are allowed to build a business that holds you, not just the other way around. Let me know if you found this helpful, and until next time, have a beautiful week.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.